So in this video, we're going to focus on the nature of the roots of quadratic equation. Okay? So for your information, yung tinatawag nating roots of quadratic equation are the values, okay, that will satisfy the given quadratic equation. Okay? Or the values of a particular variable that will satisfy the given quadratic equation. And to get the nature of the roots, we need to consider first the discriminant. Okay? And yung discriminant natin, or yung tinatawag nating D, has a formula, and that is b squared minus 4ac. So, ayan, kung makikita nyo dito sa formula ng discriminant, okay? So, we have A, B, and C, and these real numbers can be found in the given quadratic equation. Okay? Now, so before tayo mag-continue, let me discuss to you what are the nature of the roots. Okay, kailan ba natin masabing ang root ng or ang roots ng quadratic equation are imaginary, two distinct real roots, and rational and irrational. So, kailan natin masabi 'yon? Okay, so if the discriminant is equal to 0, the nature of the roots are equal and both rational. Okay? Equal and both rational. So the nature is equal and both rational. Now, so what if the discriminant is greater than 0 and that number or that discriminant is perfect square? So what will be the nature of the roots? Okay, so kapag yung discriminant mo is greater than 0 and also perfect square, so there are two distinct real roots and rational. Okay, and then if your discriminant is greater than 0 but not perfect square, okay, so we have two distinct real roots and irrational. Okay, both roots are irrational. So we have two distinct real roots, and these real roots are irrational. Okay, and the last nature of the roots of quadratic equation is kapag yung d natin is less than 0. So when we say less than 0, these are integers with negative sign. Okay? So kapag ang discriminant na nakuha natin are negatives, or less than 0, so the nature of the roots are imaginary or complex numbers. Ayan. So these are the four nature of the roots. The first one is equal and both rational. The second one is two distinct real roots and rational. The third one is two distinct roots, but this time the real roots are irrational. And then the last one is imaginary numbers or complex numbers. Okay? Now, so as you can see, naka-base sa ating discriminant kung ano yung magiging nature of the roots of quadratic equation. So, para mas lalo nyong maintindihan, so I will give you an example. Now, for example, our quadratic equation, let's say, is 4x squared plus 8x plus 9 equals 0. Since this quadratic equation is in standard form, so we can easily identify a, b, and c. And then for this quadratic equation, a is equal to 4, b is equal to 8, and c is 9. So to find discriminant, or to find the discriminant of this quadratic equation, we are going to use the formula b squared minus 4ac. And of course, to find the discriminant, we are going to substitute, okay, a, b, and c in this formula. So we have 8, which is our b, then squared minus 4, then a is equal to 4, then c is equal to 9. So 8 squared, or simply 8 times 8, is equal to 64 minus 16, which is 4 times 4. Yan. So negative 4 times positive 4 is equal to negative 16. And we will multiply negative 16 to the other number, which is 9, and that is equal to negative 144. Okay? So for 64 minus 144, the answer is negative 80. Since the discriminant is equal to negative 180, and we all know that negative 80 is less than 0, so meaning to say, our nature of the roots are imaginary roots. Okay, so there are two distinct imaginary roots. Okay, another example. This is example number 1. So another example, we have negative m squared plus 2m minus 11 equals negative 10. So as you can see, ayan, so yung given natin na quadratic equation is not yet in standard form. Because as you can see, hindi naka-equate yung ating equation to 0. So para magawa natin yon, so we will try to get the additive inverse of negative 10, which is positive 10. So it will become negative m squared plus 2m negative 11. The additive inverse of negative 10 is positive 10 equals negative 10 then plus 10. So these two numbers will be eliminated, and then let's simplify our answer on the left side. It will become negative m squared plus 2m. The negative 11 plus 10 is equal to negative 1 equals 0. Okay? And then, as you can see, this is already in standard form. So, wherein a is equal to negative 1, b is equal to positive 2, then c is also negative 1. So, using the formula for discriminant, we have b squared minus 4ac. Okay? And then substitute a, b, and c. So, we have b, which is 2, then squared minus 4 times a, which is negative 1, then c is also negative 1. So 2 times, or 2 raised to 2, or 2 times 2 is equal to 4. Then negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. Okay? And then positive 4 multiply to negative 1 will become negative 4. And 4 minus 4 equals 0. So since discriminant is equal to 0, okay, we are going to find, okay, dun sa ating previous slide, yung kung ano yung magiging nature of the roots if the discriminant is equal to 0. And based on that, okay, if the discriminant is equal to 0, the nature of the roots are equal, and both are rational. So this will be the nature of the roots of a quadratic equation, which is negative m squared plus 2m minus 11 equals negative 10. Okay, so for the third example, for the third example, so our third example is 6p squared minus 4 or equals 4 minus 2p. So as you can see, our given quadratic equation is not yet in the standard form. So we need to transform this, or we need to set this in standard form for us to easily identify A, B, and C. So it will become 6p squared. So the additive inverse of negative 2p is positive 2p. Okay, so we will add positive 2p on the left side. And the additive inverse of positive 4 is negative 4. So it will become negative 4. So equals 4. Then the additive inverse of 4 is negative 4. Then next is 2p. Then the additive inverse of negative 2p is 2p. So, makakancel yan. At ang matitira na lamang sa left ay 6p squared plus 2p minus 4 equals 0. So, this time, nasa standard form na ang ating quadratic equation. And with this quadratic equation, we can say that a is equal to 6, b is equal to 2, then c is equal to negative 4. Okay? And then, let's try to find the discriminant. Okay? For the discriminant, we are going to use again the formula, which is b squared minus 4ac. And from our given, b is equal to 2, that's why we have 2 squared minus 4. Then a is equal to 6. Then c is equal to negative 4. Okay, so 2 squared or 2 times 2 is equal to 4. Then, let's multiply these 3 integers. So, negative 4 times 6 is equal to negative 24. Then, negative 24, which is the product of negative 4 times 6, multiply ulit natin sa negative 4. And that will become positive 96. And 4 plus 96 is equal to 100. We all know that 100 is greater than 0, right? And also, 100 is a perfect square. So, our discriminant is greater than 0 and also a perfect square. Now, if our discriminant is 0 or is greater than 0 and perfect square, so our nature of roots will be two distinct real roots, and these two real roots are both rational. Okay, so this will be the nature of the roots of this quadratic equation. Okay, so I hope you learned something from me, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.